welcome to our live feed spoiler show, where we're going to be talking about everything that's been happening on the live feeds before it airs. Kind of sort of this week, because, weird times for stuff. Anyway, you guys should know that if you want to see any of these shows back, or shows with house guests, you can see them at yourrealityrecaps.com/bb19. And guess what? This week, later in the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and for our spoiler show on Saturday, we'll be having house guests join us. Danielle from Over the Top is going to be the first one. So I believe Danielle will probably be on this Wednesday or Thursday. Because we need to check in with Danielle and see what one of the OTT players thinks of all the goings on this season. I feel we've heard from Canada. We need to hear from what Over the Top thinks. So Danielle will be here this week. Now, to let you guys know, if for some chance you don't have the live feeds and you're missing this drama, get it at yourrealityrecaps.com/bb19 feeds. It really helps support our shows. Or you can also follow at bb19 live feed on Twitter. They are doing the best this season. I am blown away by how amazing they are, with 24/7 live feed updates of the feeds, pictures, live tweeting during the show. They are all amazing. And like Jewel mentioned before we started, you can check out the flashback times for what you missed over at yourrealityrecaps.com/bb19 flashbacks. We have a list of what we think are the important flashback times if you missed anything. So lastly, we're doing this right now live on YouNow, chat room, everything over there. When we do them live, just head over to yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow and become a fan over there to check it all out. And I lied. For real, lastly, speaking of the house guests coming on this week, if you want to be part of the after shows, we'll be live here on YouNow, but then we go to the patron group for the one-on-one after shows. Being a patron really helps support our shows. If you haven't visited yourrealityrecaps.com/patron lately, go take it out. I made a new video over there explaining it for people who don't get it, but basically it is what allows us to keep bringing you guys shows, content, and everything that we do here. So if you want to support us, check it out. You get access to the patron-only Facebook group, prize giveaways, shows just for patrons each week. Of course, the after shows this season. Everything is over there. Or you can do one-time donation at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal. So everyone, racism, eh? No. We're not going to lead with it. Let's not lead with it. I feel we need the lead up to it. Because you guys are going to see, if you haven't already, what transpired to get us to this point on Wednesday's episode. So basically where we left off in the house, we saw that Alex was HOH, and of course, she nominated Dominique and Jessica. Well, then all hickety hell broke loose. Basically, Dominique felt blindsided, and she was like, what the hell's going on? Why am I on the block? Why did no one tell me that I was on the block? I don't like being on the block. And then she started having her one-on-one meetings with everyone, where she was, gathering her information. And Dominique, who earlier on in this season I loved. And I'm not saying I don't love her now, but I'm just saying it was very different preseason Dominique from the Dominique in her one-on-one convos. Where, God is, and look, I'm not trying to make this about religion, but I'm just saying, Dom is very much like, if I leave the house, then God wanted me to. And if I stay, then God wanted me to. And everything is God wants her to do it. And I just want Dom to do. I don't want God to do. I want Dom to do. I don't want God to play through Dom. I want Dom to play. If I want Dom to play. I want Dom to, is what I'm saying. But it's just a little weird. I feel like it would make me uncomfortable if I was in the house and I always felt like I was playing against God, is what I'm saying. I don't want to play against God. I'm told I'm going to hell. So I don't want to play against God. It's very intimidating. But she had all of her conversations, and she came to the conclusion that Paul's a snake. But she's not going to say Paul's the snake. She's just going to say that there is a snake, and it's slithering. It's a slithery snake. It's a sneaky, slithering snake, is what she's saying. So she decides late at night that she's going to go to Alex. Like, Alex comes out of the DR and she's like, oh my God, Alex, I gotta tell you something. And Alex is like, what? And then all of a sudden, Dominique starts explaining to her how she's put all the pieces together from talking to all the different house guests in the house, and that she wants to call a house meeting tomorrow because that there's a slithering, slippery snake, and she's gonna call out the snake, and she just wants Alex to know for her own well-being knowledge of said slippery snake, which is not Paul. And she wants you to know that it's not Paul, because she didn't say Paul's name. But she's just saying that there's a snake. And by the way, have you seen Paul today? But there's also a snake, and not Paul, but hey, Paul. Is basically. So Alex, who I want to love as well. Dear future Big Brother players, I don't know if you're aware that in the game of Big Brother, knowledge is power. And now you have knowledge. You know that Dominique is going to do this great big thing tomorrow. And upstairs in your HOH room, like a nice little wrapped up package, is Paul and Mark and Elena. And I'm like, please don't do it, Alex. Just hold on to it. Just sleep on it. Just wait. Just pause and just don't run. And again, give everything to Paul. Why are you going to just give everything to Paul? You have the upper hand for the moment. Oh, but no. She goes up to that HOH room and she just tells Paul everything. And Paul, being the good player that Paul is, and being a person who has played this game before, understands, oh, I just got a heads up that I'm going to be called out. So, how do I turn the situation around? I'm going to go call her out. Which is what he did. So it was like a little bit mildly funny, like he ran downstairs and he started hissing at her. Just keep in mind, we're going in order before anyone stabs me. So he starts hissing at her like a snake and is like, do you want to come talk, snakies? Like the guy from, what's the one with the lightning bolt on his face? The kid with the lightning bolt on his face? That one? The snake man from that. That guy was a snake, right? Look, don't tell Danielle. I know it's, Harry Potter. Don't tell Danielle, because she's going to be on this week. I can't stand that Harry Potter shit. I never got it. There was way too long in between movies. I can't remember what I did yesterday. You expected me to remember what the fuck happened between movie 1, 2, and 3. I didn't even basically remember who the people were. Who's the little redheaded girl? I don't even fucking understand. But I don't even know why we're going off on that tangent. Anyway, back to Big Brother. So he wakes up Dom and is like, let's go up to the HOH room. And, we're gonna call you out and let's talk. Now, here's the thing. I don't like, and I understand that it's a game. Here's the shit that I can't stand about Big Brother. When people do the whole, I'm not saying the name, I didn't say the name, don't say, oh my God, you said the name. And now, granted, that was largely Dominique's defense, but she is in no way the only person that does it. Every single Big Brother player in every single season, including this one, they all do it. Oh my God, just say the name. Like it's gonna make any difference if you say the name and it comes out, or you don't say the name and it comes out. So please, for the love of God, for those of us that are just watching the live feeds and need to follow all of you flipping your decisions every 3 seconds, just say the name. Just say the name. That's what we want. We just say the name. It doesn't matter. You don't think she was attracted? Do you mean attacked? We're getting there. So I don't like when any of I don't like when any of them do that. But here's the part that blows my mind about the fight that they all had in that room, because kind of like one by one the other house guests started getting brought into the fight. Do you know what I think the most offensive part of specifically that altercation and where it all began? Do you know what I think the most offensive part of it was? The fact that we had to have it retold 19 times. 19 times. Every time a new person came into the room, we had to retell everything that led up to it again. For the love of God, we know. Like, we know. We don't need it again. We're watching. Also, future Big Brother players, if you are going to call a house meeting, call people out, can you please make sure that all the people are in the room so that we don't have to hear said calling out story 15 times in a row? I mean, I would appreciate it. I have things to do. We all do. We're there. We're there for your fights. We're there for the drama. We're there to watch it all happen. I don't need to relive it 15 times as each new person walks in. Just saying, oh my God, and when Crutches showed up, oh my God, when Crutches showed up, and it's like, fight, 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 fight. Oh my God, do you want a chair? Let me get a chair. Do you want me to fluff the pillow? Let me fluff the pillow for your leg. Oh my God, okay. Oh, hold on. Fake foot injury is coming in now. Oh God, somebody pull her up a table. Do you need a chair, Raven, too? We know you got a paper cut on your foot. Oh, boo-boo kissies. Whatever. Basically, everyone was in that meeting except for Kevin and Ramses, and I feel like one other person was missing. But Kevin was there. Kevin was sleeping. Oh, Jessica. Kevin, Ramses, Jessica were the people that missed the fight or, whatever. So, do I think in that fight that Dom was ganged up on? No. Nobody really said anything except for Paul. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by the monkey. Why is there a monkey dropping bananas all over our show? That makes no sense. Oh, it's a new. Okay, sorry. If you all don't know, when you watch the shows live on You Now, there's animations and graphics and fun stuff. And apparently the new one for the summer is monkeys with bananas. So, it's cute. Little monkey. I love the monkey. Thank you very much, Leslie, for that. Okay, so I don't think that Dom was being attacked in that conversation. I mean, she went around to everyone and made it very clear that she was going to call the house meeting to go after Paul. She made the mistake of telling Alex that that was her plan. It was just her own plan backfired. So I don't necessarily think that's an attack. We're playing a game. And nobody else in the room really contributed at all to it other than Paul. So I didn't get the attacky feeling from that meeting. It was definitely interesting. It more so blows my mind that Paul is able to convince everyone that he's being honest. People that claim to have just watched his season in Sequester, he is able to convince them that he's telling the truth. He is so good at bold-faced lying to you and making you believe it. It is shocking to me. It does not even, other than Whistle Nut, a lot of people don't seem to really have Paul on their radar so much yet, which I find very, very interesting. I was just blown away that after that meeting, fight, house, whatever, that none of these people, I didn't see any. I mean, granted, they all went to sleep because it was super early in the morning, but I didn't really see any of them fracture off and just be like, could there be any truth to what Dom is saying? It does seem a little weird that Cody said this and now Dom is saying it. And we know, if you guys watch the show, if you guys watched any of the shows, I think we had Megan on twice now. Megan told us that she told everyone that this is Paul's game and this is what Paul's gonna do. So I don't get why these people are buying it. I don't get why they're buying it. Carrie J in the chat room says, Alex doesn't believe that Paul will turn on her. Alex literally said on the feeds today, this is verbatim what she said. Paul can't turn on us because America's watching. The fuck? Come again? What? I thought you were a fan of this show. I thought you were a fan of this show. I thought you knew the show. If you don't know that, I mean, if you believe that, then we have no hope. The ship's going down. If Alex believes that, and then it's falling in line with other people, Paul's winning the game. Paul's winning. Because these people, I don't know what more, like literally, what more has to happen for Paul to be exposed in this game. I don't know. More like Paul is going to turn on you because America's watching. Exactly. Well, 100%. Exactly. Okay. So, that's kind of what happened. Like, Dominique made her case. She was saying that the reasons that she was claiming in the argument that she wasn't there to call out Paul, that she never said Paul's name, that the reason she wanted to call the house meeting was to kind of clear her name and let people know that she wasn't using the show to gather information, that she didn't think it was fair that people were calling her a liar because she didn't lie about things, and one or two other things which honestly didn't matter. But her point was she was calling the meeting to clear the air with the house, not necessarily to call out Paul. But of course, it went up and down and back and forth, and obviously they were both accusing each other of a lot of things, where Paul would say to her, 4 different people told me that you had said my name, and why are you telling 4 people? And then of course Elena was in the room and she was one of the people, and then Paul is directly calling out Elena, and we're like, well, let's clear this up, Elena. And then of course she's gonna just deny it all. So, I mean, which then made it look like she lied to Dom, which then made Dom look like she was then lying. So the whole thing was brilliant on Paul's part to deflect all of the drama in other directions. He did a good job in that instance of deflecting all the drama outward and put it everywhere else. He caused like little fractures in his own group. Obviously his issue with Dom. It was interesting, but it just went on too long, and they just kept repeating the story like 20 times to the point where you were like, I can't even listen to this story again. Okay, so then did we have nots? So then they picked have-nots. Okay, which Alex had to pick. So the people that she chose for the have-nots were, I think, the order in which they fell. And it was Mark and Ramses and Josh. So those were the 3 people that fell off. Of course, Jason was the extended from the week before because he took the pass. So As soon as she announced it, Mark and Josh went running to the HOH room door. And by the way, not the HOH room door, the diary room door, because they both wanted their chance to like pick the chip. And I was like, oh shit, are they going to fight? What I didn't know, I thought the rules are very clear saying the first person that claims it gets it. So wouldn't it just like, didn't we, I thought we were going to get like the slow motion, na 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 na. I mean, we'll see it hopefully on the edited show. Like, who was the first person to make it to the door? They both made it to the door essentially at the same time, but I'm sure that there could be some like slow motion split screen where we see who hits the buzzer first, and then they're the ones that gets it. But apparently, like, they picked straws or did it like pick a number or do something that they did in the diary room, because they both got called into the diary room together. However, it ended up being Josh, even though to me it looked like Mark got there first, but it ended up being Josh who got it. So got the ability to pick for it. So of course he went to the POV room, the have not room. He picked purple, and he didn't get it. Now he is on an extended slop stay for an additional week now as well, and has to sleep on the spiky beds. Now, there was another little bit of drama, which of course Paul was involved in, with Kevin, where, when nobody was looking, Paul and Kevin went into the have not room, took the pillows out of Josh's bed, like the pillows that make the spikes not spiky, and put them into Ramsey's bed. Well, Josh was not having that shit. And Josh got pissed. And he was like, don't screw with my bed, and don't screw with my food, and Josh really believed that it was Kevin that did it, but you know, Kevin does this whole jokey thing where he's very good at also like deflecting the drama away from him. But Josh started farting, or, well, he does fart a lot, actually, in that have not room. He started fighting with Mark, and Mark was like, where'd you get that pillow? And then they started fighting over the pillow, which was so stupid. And then I was like, this is getting really heated. Like, way more heated, I felt, than the Paul and Dominique thing upstairs. Like, I really thought that Josh might punch somebody over it. Like, he was getting really angry and he was really tired. So then he leaves to go take a shower. And when he leaves to go take a shower, instead of taking all the pillows out from his bed, they take the pillows from Whistlenut's bed and then put them in Josh's bed to make it now more full. And I was like, Josh is going to lose his mind. Like, he's going to stab somebody. Josh is legitimately going to stab somebody in this house. I do not remember feeling nervous watching the feeds before, except for like that Russell Hantz when we got the really tense stalker movie music edit during that whole fight. I was like, oh god, this is gonna turn out bad. But it didn't. He actually laughed about it. Like, when he came back in the room, he was like, ha ha ha, oh my god. And then he was laughing about it, which I thought was great. I was like, good. I'm glad we have a sense of humor, because this is like a little bit awkward there. He's probably why they never get knives. Get sharp knives. No, the what's-his-face that held the knife up to what's-her-face. You know, what's-his-face and what's-her-face from like season 2, 3, 4? When he held the knife up to her throat. That's why they're not allowed to get real knives. I must admit that part, it turned on a few minutes before Eric. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I don't know. You can rewind. Justin, thank you. Season 2, Justin. But who was the girl? Who was the girl that he did it to? I guess I was thinking Krista. I was going to say Kristen. Krista. There you go. Okay, so basically, the meeting worked that Paul called because the whole entire house does not trust Dom anymore. The whole entire house does not trust Dom anymore. And it just sucks that yes, she did do some of the things, and Paul, as a very good debater, is able to focus people's attention on what he wants them to focus it on. So Paul did a good job in Big Brother land for focusing the attention on her lies versus the truth that she was saying about him. So it did get everybody more focused on that, and made people really want Dom out this week. So then, of course, we go over to the POV, which they surprised us and did super late at night. None of us were expecting it. And the winner of that was Whistlenut. Whistlenut won the POV. Now, this is perfect. I think him winning POV is absolutely perfect for Alex's game, because it was before the fight. The POV was before the fight, right? The whole POV moving and being at different times messed me up. So he, I thought, would work with Alex to do something to help their game more. Getting out Dom is really only still helping the other side of the house. The other side of the house wants Dom out now. So why would you do that for them? Leave the big shield in the house ahead of you. And here's the thing. Whistlenut and Alex could have played this so differently. Whistlenut knows that he's a target for the other side of the house anyway. If I was Alex, I would have told Whistlenut, use it on Dom. And I'm going to act like I did not know that you were doing that. We're going to act like we're in a fight. That is going to create distance between us within the house, but we are not really in the fight. We can still keep working together. But that is going to leave the big target now in the house going after them going after them, and we're protecting our numbers, number one, and then I will put up a different one from their side that then they would have to take out, which would take a vote away, like a Mark or a Raven or Don't Touch My Mat. Don't touch my mat. So I think that would have been the smarter move for them to do. However, it went back and forth so much where, like, there were times when Jason was in one room saying how he's going to use it, and then Alex is having conversations in another room saying how he's not going to do it. Like, the two of them could not get on the same page for the past 2 days to save their lives. I had no clue what the real answer was going to be, because some days one was using it and then the other one, I don't mean days, hours. It literally switched hourly, whether it was being used, not being used, and if both of them were on the same page of its usage. It was very confusing, but I'm going to just skip ahead so that I obviously don't forget to tell you. He did not use the power of veto, which I think is a horrible, horrible move on his end. I get why they feel it was a good move, because they feel like, oh, we can say that we were working with the other side of the house and hopefully it's going to gain more trust with the other side of the house. Here's a newsflash for you as well. If you are playing Big Brother in the future, the things you do to help other people out of niceness in a game like Big Brother is not an asset to your game. It hurts your game. Even if you believe that it is getting you further in the game, which may be a goal earlier on, it will hurt you in the end because people will not want to take you to jury. It's kind of that thing like on Survivor, like who's going to give up the food reward so that somebody else can eat. That's helping their game and hurting your game. It doesn't make sense. I'm so confused with the temptation thing. What are the rules in the halting hex? Well, we'll get there. So, he did not use it. It's to be determined whether this was a good move for Alex or not. I feel it was not a good move for that side of the house at all. And don't get me wrong, the voting still hasn't happened, but I don't think they have the numbers anyway. No, they don't have the numbers. They don't have the numbers to keep her. I don't see any way that Dom stays. I think it was a mistake for their game. I think they're going to regret it, and it's going to 100% become a couples and Paul show going forward. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the battle back, which is happening on Friday. We'll see what happens with the battle back that's happening on Friday. Now, let's talk about Paul for a minute. And then, because it's a live feed spoiler show, I'll take your guys' question from the chat room, and we'll focus or get more into the points that you guys want to talk about. So, for those of you that don't know what the latest, now the big drama in the house at the moment is the whole Paul, and is he being racist and racism and all of that. So, here is what... here is basically what happened. So because Dom called him a snake, he decided he wanted to be a snake for the POV and the live show. So he kind of got one of the girls' snakeskin dresses that was black and white, and snakeskin leggings that were black, and then decided that he wanted to put a face mask on, wait for it, we're getting there, that he could peel off because it would be like shedding his skin. Which was kind of how it started. However, he did keep saying, I'm gonna put the black mask on, or the black face mask on, and not explaining it. Like, here's the thing. Here's how I kind of feel about it. I think Paul should know, because it's 2017, that it would never be acceptable to do that. Now, I don't think Paul was at any way doing it to mock her being black. That being said, it doesn't mean it's okay that he doesn't know that it is that. Like, I don't get how he doesn't know that that's not offensive. He should know that that's offensive. And I feel like, so many people were asking me on Twitter, like, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think about it? And I kind of feel like I'm a white man. I don't have the right to feel a way about it because I am not the one who was affected by but I'm not the one who's being affected by that. I had a lot to say when Paul made all the tranny comments. Now, what I did say when Paul made all the tranny comments was that it's not okay and that it's ignorant of him, but that I don't believe that if somebody sat Paul down and was kind of like, this is offensive and this is why it's offensive, that I don't believe that Paul would then be like, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. But you also can't necessarily use ignorance as an excuse. I know people are looking for like a definite, are you siding with Paul or are you not siding with Paul? And the thing is, I'm kind of in the middle. Because while I feel he should know better and it's not okay, I also don't think his intent was to mock her race. But I also am not the one on the receiving end of the mocking or of that race. So I don't feel that my opinion really matters on it. I will always tend to side with the people that feel oppressed in a situation or upset in a situation. I just it's difficult. And I know that there are like a lot of people be like, I almost feel like in a way CBS is more to blame because they have the opportunity to stop it and don't. It's like I would feel so here's how I feel about it. I would feel so much different about it if this was happening in real time and Paul was able to get outside input or input from people other than people playing a game. Because it's in the show's best interest to have all of us talking about it. All of us talking about it is great for the show. It's horrible for Paul. It's horrible for Dom. It's great for them. Big Brother's in the news. It's on TMZ and CNN and it's everywhere. And my hope on the whole thing is I don't ever want to, I would hope that everyone can be in a place where like people can talk about an issue like this one and not be afraid to like say the wrong thing and like learn and grow. Like I think as humans, we have to like screw up and then get educated. And then if we sincerely want to like learn why what we did was wrong, then change and be better people. So like that's what I hope happens with Paul. Like I hope Paul gets to say whatever he was feeling. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Maybe he will say, yeah, I was wearing blackface and I didn't realize it was offensive. Or he's going to say, it never even crossed my mind, but I'm also an idiot. I should have known better. The TMZ, I didn't read any of the stories about it. I watched it all happen on the feeds. I watched the conversations happen on the feeds that led up to it. I watched what happened afterwards. So production had him just put like a black triangle on his forehead and like black lines on his face. So clearly production must have said something to him. But I don't know. So BB Feedwatcher says, I'm married to a black man, and I just asked him what Paul was doing, and he said he thought he was dressing as a snake. And I hear you, BB Feedwatcher, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's not offensive to you, or not offensive to your husband, or it's not offensive to me. It matters to the people who it is offensive to, because just because something's not offensive to us doesn't mean that then we should get to decide what's offensive to other people, because there will be things that are offensive to us that are not offensive to other people, and then we'll be like, oh, no one cares that this is offensive to me. But also on the same hand, we don't want to always have everybody feel that everything's offensive, and then none of us can have a dialogue or a communication, or have a conversation. Conversation's the word that I'm looking for. It's very hard for me to talk about this topic alone on a show. I have to like argue it with myself. I'm trying to present both sides and argue it with myself. Here's what we all should have done. I should have just, if I would have thought about it for 3 seconds, I would have had John come on and he could have talked about being an Indian and then we could have just attacked him. We've done it before as a country, is what I'm saying. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room. I'm going to not say the names of the people who are of what you are saying in the chat room because I can't pre-read them. So that's that disclaimer. I think he would have done it to anyone that called a mistake, regardless of their race, gender, whatever. Paul thought he was just being funny. I do agree with that. For me personally, I do think that Paul would have done it to any single person, regardless. But that still doesn't make it okay that he doesn't know why it's not okay. It's not okay that he doesn't know that's a thing that was used to mock or oppress people. It's not good that he doesn't know that. But then who could stop it and who could say something? This is where it becomes a gray line. This is where the situation is not just black and white. This isn't happening in the real world. It's happening behind a literal paywall. It's happening on a show that makes money based on the amount of people that tune in to watch it. So the people who could do something about it, it's not in their best interest. Like, it's not, let's say someone in the house found it instantly offensive. Well, if they spoke up about how it was offensive, it could ruin their game and their chance to win. So then that's, not fair to them. And can you really hold that against them for not saying something in a game? It just becomes all these like gray areas and weird lines of how do you have the conversation with someone that you can't communicate with in a real world scenario? They're all playing a game for money, is what I'm saying. CBS loves that they have to post the disclaimer. It sells more feeds. Danielle says, my issue is Paul keeps trying to act like he is socially woke and aware, but he's constantly saying and doing potentially offensive things. I do agree with you on that aspect. It doesn't seem. He is definitely being more aggressive to Dom than other people, but then again, kind of. Also, so is the whole entire house. The whole entire house kind of is. So it doesn't, like, make it okay. But I do agree with you that he is doing that. Big Brother is a social experiment. It's a cross-section, or supposed to be a cross-section, of society. And I love that if what comes out of this Paul and Dominique situation is that it creates more dialogue on the topic where people can like express and educate and inform people in better ways, then I think that is something that is positive that can come out of it. I just feel like I 100% emphasize. Yes, I'm going to emphasize. I have empathy for the people that are offended by it because I know how I felt when Cody is, 0.00001%, Or Paul is like, tranny, tranny, tranny. And then I see straight people talking about it like they're so offended. And I'm like, what would you know about it? What would you know about why it's offensive? Straight person who can get married. So I kind of just feel like it's not for me necessarily to have an opinion about it, other than to say I just feel like he should know better. I feel like he should know why that was offensive, and it sucks to me that there is no way to communicate that with him. So we all just can make up all of how we want it to play out. Like, if you like Paul, because nobody can tell him because he's in a game that's offensive and why it's offensive. So if you like Paul, you can then make the storyline play out how you want. Or, if you don't like Paul, then you can make it go that way as well, because we won't know until Paul's out of the game, and then he can talk about it. It's a fine line, and we have to hear what he says. I have a feeling he will regret it and explain and be clueless. I do believe that Paul doesn't... I do not believe, and I think most people... Like, I also didn't want to say anything about it until I saw what a lot of people in that, like, I respect that cover Big Brother were saying about it. I think the general consensus for most people is they don't think that Paul was doing it to attack her on her race, but it also didn't excuse the fact that he doesn't know why that's offensive. And I thought he was, like, super, like, went to a really good school. So how do you not know that? I know that. And I didn't go to that great of a school. I just don't like trying to ruin someone because his intent was taken wrong. I agree with that, too. I don't think that's what I was saying before. Like, I don't like, and again, him being like tranny. Even Cody, I said when people asked, I don't ever think that people should have their real lives affected for something that happens in the game of Big Brother. Now, that's not to say that Cody then couldn't come out of the house and say horribly offensive things about gay people now in the real world, when people can talk to you and you can talk back and you can respond and we can see how you communicate and act in a real world situation. Then 100% the ramifications that you brought on yourself are yours. But I don't, in general, think that anything that happens in the game of Big Brother should affect people's real lives or their families. Because again, it's isolated in a bubble. And it's very easy to say, you want Paul, like, I don't know, to lose his business or something because of this. But then next week, something can happen to the person that you like. And now other people want that person to lose their house. And then something could happen to another person. And then these people can get out of the house and go, oh God, I didn't even realize what I was doing or saying. I feel horrible, but then their lives are destroyed. And then what you've done is created a prejudice, if that makes sense. I just wish, it's like the only bad thing about Big Brother. I wish when situations like this come up, Big Brother could figure out a way to turn it into like an actual conversation or something. I don't know. He's taking it way too far with Dominique. Like, the house is already on his side. No need to continue to mock and berate her. I completely agree with you. I think any of them should not like kick the people when they're down and going and on their way out. Also, since feeds came back after POV, Dom has not expressed feeling some type of way about it. Correct. And Dominic actually has said that she thinks that Paul is a good player since after the POV. So it does seem like if you care about how the actual person who was on the receiving end of it feels, it did not seem yet that Dom was offended by it at all. I'm not saying that that makes it okay or is an excuse. I'm just reporting what has happened now that the POV ceremony is over. Yeah, she called him an asset. She was like, I understand why Paul would be brought back to this game. He's not a curse. He's an asset to the game. You know, she was having like that conversation afterwards. So in other words, it doesn't seem like she took it as an offensive thing. He also didn't wear the whole mask. That is true. That is true. He also didn't wear the whole mask. Just a side note for people that are like longtime reality recap fans, you're aware it's a Lush face mask, right? I'm not talking about it. You're welcome, Lush. Lush, you're welcome. We're just going to keep those two things completely. Mask of Magnanimity is the one, or Magnanimity, but I always say Magnanimity. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. We're moving on. The other one was, right. I don't understand why Slimy Paul was brought back to this game. He sucks. Well, it's very simple, David Thielen, because a lot of people loved him on his season. He came in second place, and a lot of people loved him. He was definitely America's favorite, and that's why he was asked back. That being said, seems like he's lost the favoritism of a lot of people way before this. Way before this happened, he seemed to be losing the favoritism of some people for how he's playing the game. We should all agree on one thing. Never go to TMZ for news. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Like, I would love, like, there is nothing more that I would love than to make an entire show about talking about this topic. But I don't feel like it's a topic where, hey, let's listen to the white man talk about racism. I don't feel that I'm a good person to talk about it. Like, if you want me to talk, like, if you want me to be the white gay who can talk to you about similarities in gay culture, we can do that, but that's not what we're talking about. So I just feel like I'm not a good representative to correctly express this situation, other than just to say, do I think Paul should have known better? 100%. I personally feel the show is also to blame for not instantly putting a stop to it and explaining to him why it's offensive, and then giving him the chance to reply to it. But I guess you can't, because you can't have outside information. And then lastly, do I think his intent was to make it about race? I personally don't. But just because I don't doesn't mean that that's not true. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what Paul will say. I think Paul's a lot of things, but I don't think, he's that. It has become the Paul show. That's more annoying as shit to me than anything. That it's become the Paul show. That's the part that annoys me more, is that it has just become the Paul show. Like, there are so many other plot lines I would like to follow, but it just seems like we have to follow along with whatever Couples or Paul are doing. I think it's blown out of proportion. Again, that's a hard thing to say, because again, what's blown out of proportion to you is not blown out of proportion to somebody else. And then you can make the argument of, well, then does everything have to be so politically correct, and can we never not have a conversation? These are like all things that could be our conversations that we could really discuss if it wasn't just me here as one person talking about it. The reason, okay, so Steffi says, the reason he said black mask so many times, but then said black leather jacket, black face, and touch face, describing outfit, and went into talking about snake outfit, it was one time he said black face that pushed it over the edge. Right, and I mean, that's where I say, how does Paul not instantly say, oh God, that's not what I mean when he says that? Like, if I was on this show and was like, I'm gonna go put on my blackface, and then go, oh, I would instantly go, oh my God, I don't mean blackface. I mean, like, it's a mask, and I didn't mean that. Like, that is what I would say if the words blackface came out of my mouth. Like, I would instantly want to correct myself. That's where I say, I don't understand how that didn't click for Paul. So either Paul is like so not even tuned into it being a race thing that like it's like not even on his radar, or it has to be that, because there can't be another thing. But then that's where I go back to saying, like, focus in then, and somebody needs to explain to you why that's offensive. So I can't see production letting him go through with it. Production did not let him go through with it. Production had him just do a like a triangle on his face. I think I do have, hold on. Of course I forgot to pull it up. I can show you what I can show you what it looked like. Hold on. Let me go to my desktop. Where is it? I know I saved it. Okay, here we go. Here is what his final thing look like. We're editing live on the fly. Okay, here. So that's what his final look like. But I mean, still, yes, I'm sure people are upset with what the final look like too. But I think a lot of people are more upset about like the lead up to it. Paul is trying to start another fight with Dom. Right. And I think we will see as the season goes on, Paul is going to start fights with every single person that goes after him. Which, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he won't. Like, it just comes down to Paul clearly doesn't seem to know why it's offensive, and no one can tell him because it's a game. And we don't have all the information to know what's going to happen until it plays out more. He's great at arguing. Correct. He loves arguing. I can see it from the other angle too, though. When someone isn't at all racist, they can be obvious. They can be obvious when they do something wrong. I'm not sure what you mean. Josh and Mark just fought. Correct. Josh and Mark did just fight in the hot tub. She is on the block and he has the votes. He should just chill. Completely agree with you. But Paul's whole game at the moment is create chaos all around me so that when my safety is up, everyone is going after each other and not me. It's the game at the moment he's choosing to play, unfortunately. But it is also where I say everyone is going to be a casualty of it. When Dom leaves, or if Dom leaves on Thursday, Mark is going to be the new target. And all of this that was directed at her will now be directed at him. Paul's a great player, but he's annoying. Yeah, he is kind of annoying. he is mildly annoying me this season. Snakes are protesting CBS. Well, it's what he did last year. Think they will go after Josh before. It's all right if we move on, because it's been beaten to death already. Thank you, R-Town, my black friend. See, my black friend said we're allowed to move on. Hashtag comedic recaps. No, I think there is no right. Well, no, I mean, there is a right and a wrong. My point is, I don't know that this topic can be addressed in the way it needs to be until Dom and Paul are out of the house. Until then, all of us are doing is just putting our opinions and our feelings and our thoughts onto two people who can't reply and tell us at all how they feel about it and what their actual intent was. And I hate to tell all of you, but you're watching a game, so it really, whatever Paul is saying in that house, whatever Dom is saying in that house, whatever you're watching them say on the feeds, is a game for money that they all agreed to play. So you don't know what their real intentions or feelings are, good or bad feelings and intentions. So I think the only way to really have the conversation is to have it with one or both of them after. And I hope that's what happens. I also want to see if Dom has an issue with it while in the house, not after she gets out and sees what people have said. Dom has not seemed to take it offensive. Right. Sure. I mean, Dom definitely wants a talk show and definitely wants a social media career. So she might, I don't know. Dom just encouraged fans to apply if they want to learn about themselves and grow. She thanked CBS and said there is no bitterness or hurt feelings from her. See, she's still auditioning for that talk show. You should have some feelings. You should be pissed off. You're leaving the house. You need to be a little bit mad. That's where I feel like it's a little fake. Be angry. You are being screwed over in that game of Big Brother. I would be angry. What are your thoughts on Jessica? Trash bag. Dominique is annoying too. She thinks the girls are jealous of her, and that's why she's in that position. They're all kind of annoying. I have to say, when this season started, I thought I was really in love with this cast, and day by day, I find each one of them more annoying for different reasons. And if I really wanted to give you all something to be mad about, even Kevin. even Kevin is starting to, it's like, okay, the whole shtick is funny, and I'm giving it to you that it's funny. It's not funny, like, I'm gonna need you to play the game a little bit. Like, I like it, like, 70% of the time. I'm good with it 70% of the time. But could I have, like, 30% of gaming from you, too? Just in the same way I don't want to watch couples the whole time. I'm having a lot of trouble finding someone I consistently like. They go up and down. I agree. I liked Alex too, until she is saying shit on the feeds like, Paul can't go against us, America's watching. Oh, God in heaven. Or, like Matt. I love Matt. I think Matt is great. And you want to know why? I've seen zero of him on the feeds. I have no idea what Matt's personality is like. I don't think he has ever been in one conversation that I was actually watching when I was watching feeds. The first time he was actually on feeds was the other night, when it was him and Raven in the backyard when everyone was doing their Raven Exposed party, which we talked about a week and a half before. So I'm not getting into it again. Go watch that show. We literally talked about it a whole week before it became a thing. That's the most I've seen him on the feed. So he's just super hot and to me. And that's it. And I like it because I don't really have to hear him talking a lot. Matt eats cereal and doesn't change his shirt. That caused Matt to go nuts after jury starts, and he's going to start winning. I hope. What about Elena? Lips? I call Elena Lips. And what about Elena? I like her. I like that she's sarcastic. I like that she's matter of fact. But here's the thing. And I know all the Paul fans that love that Paul is playing are going to hate this one. Paul needs to leave so that we can see these other people play the game. Because these other people are not going to play the game as long as Paul's there. If Paul's there, clearly what 80% of the people left in the house are going to do is whatever Paul says. Alex put up Paul wanted. Cody gave Paul all the info. Cody was so fine with Paul being the person who got him out. He just gave him everything he needed. But they're all just playing Paul's game. Which, P.S., speaks to how good of a game player Paul is. I'm not taking away. I'm not saying I don't like Paul. Time to put the disclaimer back in. I'm not saying I don't like Paul. And I'm not saying Paul's not playing a great game because he has everyone wrapped around his finger right now. I'm just saying for me, I would rather watch new people play the game. And apparently, the new people don't want to play their own games. Or if there is someone in a situation like Dom who tries to put it out there what Paul's doing, nobody buys it. Which blows my mind. You think if Cody comes back, he'll work with Paul? Paul has deals with everybody. Paul legitimately is working with everyone. So do I think Paul will work with Cody? Sure. Why not? He's working with everyone. And they're all letting him. People who claimed they watched his season. So PPS, future Big Brother players who think you can't go back and play the exact same game, apparently the whole trick is just to play the exact same game, but say, I'm not gonna play the same game. Obviously, I can't play the same game while playing the same exact game. Paul cracked the code. So you got to give Paul credit for playing a great game and having everyone bow to him. Granted, with CBS keeping him safe for 4 weeks. But you got to give him a little credit for it, because even with safety, it's not like Netta, where she was safe, but everyone was focused on her. He's playing Derek's games. Real fans would see this. I don't get it. I swear to God, I don't get it. I don't get it. And this whole dumb thing, the other reason Paul needed to do it, just like when Derek did it on his season, Paul has now set the tone of, if you try and come after me in this game, I will bring the whole house together and attack you. Or, not attack you, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I will destroy your game. Let's put it that way. He just gave everyone a front row seat to, this is what I'll do to you. I will destroy your game. So, I mean, he flat out says it. It also blows my mind when he says shit like that. When Paul, like, that's the part of Paul that I don't like. When Paul says things like, you can either work with me and I'll help you get far in this game, or you can go against me and I'll end your game. And I'm just like, here's the thing. He's not saying it because he's this great player. He's almost saying it like it's a threat. Like, production is keeping me safe, so work with me and production will have you go far, or don't work with me and production will make sure you leave. Because Paul's not a master gamer. Like, if a Dr. Will said that, I would be like, okay, it's game level and it's respect on the game. Like, when Paul says it, it feels like a little threatening, and I'm like, I don't like it. I would be like, okay. And P.S., he's completely right. Also, for people that are playing, if you ever play Big Brother in the future, you latch on to the returning player. Again, there's never been a returning player or players that aren't kept safe until jury, like ever. There's always going to be the twist to get them to be there. I mean, like, if you only have one. I mean, obviously, if you have a few, there will be people in there that will be safe. But if there's only one returning player, you are a fool if you don't latch on to them and become their best friend, because they're always going to be kept safe until jury. They were paid for. They were paid to be there. They're not going to be, here's your $25,000 check for showing up. Oh, darn, did you get voted out the first day? Well, we lost that $25,000. No, you're there because whoever comes into the house is there because they are a fan favorite, aka they're bringing in viewers. So you don't get to leave. Instead of paying $25,000 for a commercial, we're paying $25,000 for you to bring people here, and you're staying for 4 weeks, and here's the temptation twist to make it stay that way. Mark threw hot sauce in Josh's face and didn't get expelled. And I love that your name is Thickums. Oh, remember when Josh called her Thickums? Not Josh, Jason called her Thickums. That was one of my favorites. Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen is real. Well, Karen, didn't you just come at the good time? Make sure you guys follow Karen on YouNow. You can just click on her name in the chat room. Josh is so annoying. I also find Josh, I love Josh, but I also find Josh mildly annoying. I agree with you. But then again, I enjoy all of them and find all of them mildly annoying. They all have their good parts and their bad parts. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's still kind of... The new people in the game obviously are always going to outnumber Paul. but Paul is doing a good job of creating a rift and a divide and a fraction within the house. So we're going to see how that plays out as time goes on. Who do you think will take the win right now? Vanessa wants to know. As of right now, Paul, if you really want to know who I think at this moment is going to win the game, I would say Paul, because it doesn't seem like, aside from Whistlenut, who we all couldn't stand, it seems like everyone else in that game who isn't leaving, or is the plan to leave, is not willing to do whatever Paul says or whatever Paul wants. So I would say Paul, unless Jason can start changing people's minds. Once Paul's safety is up, it will take a few weeks and people will turn on him. Yeah. Karen says, Whistlefuck has grown on me. Yeah. He's growing on me a little bit too, because he's the only one willing to, like, make moves. Even though we didn't use the POV, but whatever. Twitter was abuzz about Dom getting the Dem of Temptation, but is it possible that she can use it? Look, we don't know. Here's the thing, again, about Big Brother. It is a television show. They need to have storylines, and that's why they specifically leave things open-ended so that they can get an outcome that they want. We don't know when the temptation's coming into play and if it could save her or not. They leave it open-ended for that reason on purpose. They want to be able to get the outcome that they want, meaning the outcome that's going to create drama, create two different storylines of two different sides going against each other. It's open-ended for a reason. We don't know who has the temptation yet, do we? We do not know who has the temptation yet. Basically, because I can't believe we're almost at an hour and a half, basically to catch you up quickly for the You Now people. I know everyone else already has it on the side, but Jason, well, going back to the beginning, Alex is HOH. She nominated Dom and Jessica, and then Jason won the POV and decided not to use it. He is on his extended slop pass. Other people on slop are Matthew. No, that's not true. The other people on slop are not Jason. Oh my God. Josh. Jason's on the extension. Ramses and Mark are the have-nots. Baby Hyde, my guess is feed will be limited Thursday and Friday. Here's the thing. So also for those of you that don't know, Friday is going to be the Battle Back episode. Again, it's already happened. It's already happened. The only battle of Battle Back that has not happened yet is with whoever gets evicted on Thursday and the last winner. And then they're going to have their battle back, and then it'll probably be tied into the HOH, and or it'll be its own competition, which will then be rejudged into the HOH. So Dom and Cody. I pretty much think it'll be Dom versus Cody. Yeah, that is who I think it'll end up being. Shouldn't they have told us by now if the feeds are going to be down? Don't they normally tell us a week before? You're funny. No, they'll tell us whenever the hell they want. I believe they gave us like maybe 24 hours last year. I mean, I knew last year, because if you recall, I think I tried to hint to people, I was watching the show with Glenn. I was watching the battle, like Glenn's right next to me, and we're watching the Battle Back episode. And then I have the people coming at me on Twitter like, it's happening in real time. No, it's not. Here's Glenn. That shit happened 3 weeks ago. Which I have to say, some of us were real good super sleuths, like putting together how the backyard was always shut down and they never had no yard time and it didn't make any sense and we weren't allowed to talk to house guests. I think there were a lot of good super sleuths who figured all that stuff out. Not everyone can be Trevor or Arissa. Oh God, what could you? I wonder how. Well, no, we're not going back there. I'm just saying, I love me some Arissa. Raven has nobody puts baby in the corner hair on the feeds. Well, Raven's crazy. And that will be a topic for our next show, because I don't think anybody wants to hear me rambling on about these topics for more than an hour, let alone the hour and a half that we've already started discussing all of these spoilers. So, to remind all of you, Danielle is coming on this week. Danielle from Over the Top. And there is going to be another surprise guest, if not two, this week. So that will be Wednesday's show, Thursday's show, and Saturday's show. And then, of course, we have Amon's shows on Fridays, Becca's blogs, the Updaters. We have it all for you. We have stuff happening every single day of the week. So if you guys want to see any of the BB content back, you can go to yourrealityrecaps.com/BB19. If you want 24/7 live feed updates from Twitter, they're at BB19 live feed. If you want the flashback times, they're at yourrealityrecaps.com/flashbacks. Now, I suggest now is a good time for you all to go and watch the flashback of when the fight is. However, it happened while I was doing this show, so I have not updated the flashback times page yet. I'm just one person. Does anyone in the chat room currently remember what the flashback time is for anybody that wants to flash back to it? Thank you, Behoot. 3:30 Big Brother time. So if you want, and I'm assuming it's on all cameras, so if you want to flash back to the Josh hot tub fight, I know nothing about it, but it was at 3:30 Big Brother time. For the person who says, where can I find the flashback times pages? I can't even help you. If you don't have the live feeds, they're at yourrealityrecaps.com/BB19 feeds. That's where you can get them. And of course, if you want to help support our shows, become a patron, yourrealityrecaps.com/patron. You get weekly only patron shows, access to the patron only Facebook group, prize giveaways, and of course the after shows this season. But more so than all of that, there wouldn't be reality recaps without it. So consider supporting our shows if you guys like what we do. If you don't, you're probably David Thielen. I'll see you guys all later. Maybe we'll do a hangout show later tonight. Maybe. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys all later. Bye.